Do you experience significant anxiety about going to work, especially when dealing with anxiety disorders, OCD, or specific triggers? It's a struggle that can feel overwhelming, but it's important to know that there are strategies to help manage these fears. Probably many of you are counting the days that Monday is coming, or should I call in sick? I don't want to see this person, or another reason. For many, anxiety about work can be linked to a variety of factors, such as fear of judgment, fear of making mistakes, or a sense of being overwhelmed by the unpredictability of social interactions. If you have OCD, this can be compounded by the need for things to be just right, or intrusive thoughts that make it difficult to focus or relax. Triggers in the workplace can exacerbate both anxiety and OCD. These might be small things, like an unexpected change in routine, a particular task that feels daunting, or even certain people who you might find intimidating or challenging to interact with. The key is to recognize what specifically triggers your anxiety, so you can begin to address it. Here are 7 strategies you can use to cope in the workplace. First, acknowledging the fear. Avoiding or suppressing anxiety often makes it worse. Acknowledging your fear is the first step to overcoming it. It can help to label the emotion, like, I'm feeling anxious because I'm afraid of being judged by my colleagues. This externalization allows you to see your fear more objectively rather than being consumed by it. Number 2, gradual exposure. One of the most effective ways to manage anxiety is through gradual exposure to the situations that trigger it. Start small. If you fear interacting with a particular colleague, begin by exchanging brief pleasantries instead of launching into a long conversation. Slowly increase your exposure over time, which helps your brain realize that these situations aren't as threatening as they seem. Number 3, challenge negative thoughts. Anxiety and OCD often involve patterns of negative thinking. You might think, everyone will notice if I make a mistake, or if I don't complete this task perfectly, something bad will happen. These are called cognitive distortions. When you notice these thoughts, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought based on fact or assumption? What evidence do I have to support or disprove this fear? Often, these thoughts lose their power when we examine them logically. Number 4, mindfulness and grounding techniques. Anxiety pulls us into the future with worries of what could go wrong. Mindfulness helps you stay in the present moment, reducing the power of anxiety. Grounding exercises like focusing on your breath or mentally naming 5 things you can see, hear, or feel can bring you back to the here and now. Practicing mindfulness regularly can help reduce overall anxiety levels. Number 5, set boundaries and manage stressors. Sometimes anxiety and OCD can be exacerbated by an unhealthy work environment. It's important to evaluate whether your work environment is contributing to your anxiety. If possible, take steps to set boundaries. This might mean managing your workload better, taking breaks when needed, or communicating openly with supervisors about any accommodations that might help you manage your mental health. Number 6, practice self-compassion. Many people with anxiety or OCD are incredibly hard on themselves. They set high standards for performance and can become their own harshest critics. It's essential to practice self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend. Remember, it's okay to have bad days. It's okay to not be perfect. Number 7, prepare, but don't over-prepare. It's common for people with anxiety and OCD to cope by over-preparing, running through scenarios in their minds, rehearsing conversations, or organizing things repeatedly. While preparation can be helpful, over-preparing can keep you stuck in an anxiety loop. Try setting a time limit for preparation, then shift your focus to something else. Trust that you've done enough. If your anxiety and OCD are severely impacting your ability to function at work, it might be helpful to seek additional support. Cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the most effective treatments for anxiety and OCD. CBT helps you identify and change patterns of thinking and behavior that contribute to your anxiety. In some cases, medications can also be beneficial, especially when combined with therapy. Overcoming anxiety about going to work is a process, and it won't happen overnight. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories along the way. Each time you face your fear, you're building resilience and showing yourself that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. There is hope, and with time, the workplace can become a less daunting and more manageable part of your life. Thank you for listening.